How's it going? Welcome back to the show. This is You Made Roscoe. I am Roscoe, and today we're going to be taking a look at a video that is titled Denzel Washington Destroying Woke Culture. And we'll be taking a look at this as apparently Denzel is going to be sharing some of his thoughts on, some of the stuff that's going on in woke culture. And before we get into it, I do want to ask for anybody who hasn't that they please subscribe to the channel and also make sure you hit the notification bell. And as far as woke culture is concerned, what's funny to me is that I remember a time when being woke or awakened was a positive thing. But in recent years, the word woke has been transformed around a little bit, and it's been something that's been attached to a victim's mentality, if you will. Those who embrace being a victim as opposed to actually, doing something or making an effort to change things on your own. But I don't want to continue to talk. I just want to get into this video, see what he has to say. So let's do that.
Who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election?
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
In a world
No, let's rewind. White dude, you know better than that. They asking people what's their political preferences and stuff like that. That's not a thing, dude. Or at least that's an old school mentality. I don't know if that's like the new generation of people just don't know, but he seemed like he should be old enough to know. But let's go.
Presidential election.
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
In a world dominated by political correctness and divisive narratives, some voices dare to challenge the status quo. One such voice is Denzel Washington, a Hollywood legend who isn't afraid to speak his mind on race, politics, and the real issues facing society today. Today, we explore how Denzel Washington dismantles the so-called woke culture with wisdom, clarity, and brutal honesty. Let's take a closer look at his thoughts and the deeper message behind them.
What do you think about that?
I don't have to think about it. I've lived it. I've been the guy at the Oscars without my name being called. I've been the guy at the Oscars when my name is called. I've been the guy at the Oscars when everybody thought they was going to call my name and they didn't. So I've lived it.
So what would you say to the people who are looking at this process and saying it's unfair?
Yeah, and so what? You gonna give up? If you're looking for an excuse, you'll find one.
In race.
You can find it wherever you like. You can't live like that. You just do the best you can do.
Denzel sets the tone by addressing a question about discrimination in the Oscars. His message is clear. Justifications and excuses are easy to find, but progress is only achieved through persistence and hard work. Denzel's response here is a direct challenge to the victimhood mentality, often encouraged by woke culture. Instead of dwelling on discrimination, he emphasizes personal responsibility and resilience. His message is clear. While injustices exist, success comes from persistence, not blaming the system. This is an empowering outlook that shifts the conversation from feeling oppressed to overcoming challenges through hard work. Building on this idea of personal responsibility and resilience, Denzel's thoughts on race and culture offer a deeper perspective on how we can bridge divides without relying on surface-level solutions.
So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're in a
Steven
space right now.
Spielberg did Schindler's List.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List. But they're cultural differences. I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
The analogy of Spielberg directing Schindler's List and Scorsese directing Goodfellas speaks volumes. It's not just about who's behind the camera, but what experiences they bring to the story. This perspective goes against the grain of woke culture, which tends to focus heavily on identity markers like race. Denzel's approach shows that cultural understanding, not simply race, is key to telling authentic stories and making real connections. This focus on culture rather than race naturally leads into Denzel's critique of how information and misinformation affects our worldview. In a world overloaded with opinions, how do we find the truth?
So what is the long-term effect of too much information? The polarization of the electorate? A meaner-spiritedness?
And false information as well, because the whole fake news thing.
Pick one. It's not just one. That's the flavor of the day. Every day is something else. People have to understand, are you using your device or is your device using you? Can you put it down? Can you turn it off?
You're talking about literally the places people...
Amen to that, you know, and Denzel really like understands things on a deeper level. And I think that's something that people need to take from this is that he's when he talks about like information and how it's being put out, a lot of this stuff you have to realize is being pushed out there. It's a tool that the media has been using forever, is putting out certain information to create divides between certain factions, if you will. So you really have to be a person who is looking deeper and looking beyond, you know, the surface level, you know, as was stated. But let's keep it going. Long-term effect of too much information, the polarization of the electorate, a meaner-spiritedness.
And false information as well, because the whole fake news thing.
Pick one. It's not just one. That's the flavor of the day. Every day is something else. People have to understand, are you using your device or is your device using you? Can you put it down? Can you turn it off?
You're talking about literally the places people get their information from.
I don't care what information. Pick one. Phone, television. You know, it used to be news. Now it's opinions. Oh, glasses. We have 3 experts on the right, 3 on the left. Let's discuss. Ooh, light bulbs. We have 3 experts on the right. That's not news. That's opinions. Well, over and over and over. Cycle, 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 cycle. What is the long-term effect of too much information? If you're sitting there and you're thinking it's the gospel, what I'm saying to people is, to all of us, I'm not knocking the phone. What I'm saying is we have to understand, we have to at least ask ourselves, around the world, you here in England, wherever you are, what is it doing to us?
Denzel's message is clear. We need to be more critical of the information we consume. This is a direct hit at the woke movement, which often thrives on viral outrage and quick opinions rather than thoughtful analysis. Denzel urges us to step back, think critically, and not let ourselves be controlled by the media's endless cycle of noise. As we reflect on how information shapes our perceptions, Denzel brings us back to the importance of accountability, not just in ourselves, but in the leaders we choose to represent us.
You know, I think this is what I think. I think we as Americans better learn to unite. I think we as Americans need to put our elected officials' feet to the fire and demand that they work together, or they won't get back in office. You know, in this age we live in, this accelerated information age, we're getting further and further apart. We're not getting together, we're getting further and further and further apart. Everybody can't be right. But I think this is an opportunity, actually. You see how people are being energized and protesting and all that. But I think this is an opportunity for us to look at ourselves as a country and say, are we together, really? And are we holding our elected officials accountable to making sure that they're working together? Not just, hey, you're on your side, I win what I win, you win what you win. Because this is what is happening. This is what's happening. And God only knows where it's going.
Rather than embracing the us versus them mentality often promoted by woke culture, Denzel calls for unity. He reminds us that change won't come from simply being loud or divisive. It comes from holding leaders accountable and working together. In a culture that often pushes polarization, Denzel advocates for unity and accountability. He sees this moment as an opportunity for reflection and asks the hard question, are we really united, or are we just pretending to be while tearing each other apart? Denzel takes this critique of personal responsibility even further, turning the mirror back on us and our families. If we want to see real change, it has to start from within.
I think it's more.
Let me push it back, and I'll just let them continue to cook because, you know, he's saying everything, you know, but let's continue.
Pushes polarization, Denzel advocates for unity and accountability. He sees this moment as an opportunity for reflection and asks the hard question, are we really united, or are we just pretending to be while tearing each other apart? Denzel takes this critique of personal responsibility even further, turning the mirror back on us and our families. If we want to see real change, it has to start from within.
I think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Chicago a couple of 3-4 weeks ago, and we saw these little kids on bikes with masks on the side of their head, like 5 or 6 of them. And the driver said, yeah, they're little yummies. I said, who? He said, little yummies. Look up, Google Little Yummy. Little Yummy was an 11-year-old murderer.
Wow.
And you look at his picture, you'll see the headshot of him, and he's like this. And he got murdered at 11 by a 14-year-old.
Wow.
Who's doing life now, and a 16-year-old.
That makes no sense.
You blame the system? Where was his father?
Yeah.
It starts in the house. It starts in the home. And yeah, well, my father got locked up. Well, where was his father?
Yeah.
You know, like I did talk about my 3 closest friends, and they did, you know, 15 to 25, one did 28, this and that. I was the only one of the 3 that had a father in my life, even though my parents were together. But I still had a father who was a gentle man and a good example, and they didn't. We can blame the system if we want, but they didn't lock any of us up at 7.
Yeah.
We were all doing enough to get locked up at 13. My parents sent me in another direction. They didn't have anybody to help them, and they kept doing what they was doing, and the system got them. So
Denzel places the weight of responsibility not on systems or external forces, but on the foundation laid at home. This is a sharp critique of the current culture, which often focuses on blaming external systems. Denzel turns the mirror back on families and communities, reminding us that change begins in our homes, long before outside influences come into play. This notion of unity and accountability ties back to how we engage with each other, especially across racial and cultural lines. Denzel's next insight touches on the essence of building genuine human connections.
you know, race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are, I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage. There's no law that says, oh, because I'm president, you all got to get along now. So it's up to us.
Denzel underscores that meaningful relationships between races are built through communication, not through laws or policies. The government...
Man, this brother is saying it right here. And it's really true. You know, like people are expecting lawmakers, you know, to create something to force us together when we have to take it upon ourselves, something that I've done myself, to try to engage with others who don't share the same experiences I do, so I can learn about those experiences, you know. So yeah, no, is you just have to throw yourself into the mix with people who are different, you know, and not be scared of that. And I realize that we live in a world where people are afraid to do that, but let's finish this thing out.
...are built through communication, not through laws or policies. The government can't force people to understand each other. It's up to individuals to make the effort to engage and connect. This is a direct critique of woke culture's reliance on legislation and top-down approaches to solving racial issues. Denzel's point is simple. Real change happens through dialogue and human interaction, not through rules and regulations. It's a call for personal responsibility in building bridges between communities. As Denzel calls for stronger communication and responsibility, he reflects on his own life experiences, reminding us that hard work and personal accountability are key to success, something he's lived through firsthand.
When I was 20, I worked for I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York. I worked for the sanitation department. I was a garbage man.
You were a garbage man?
I was a garbage man. I worked at the back of the truck, 22 square blocks. That's hard. Doing movies, there's nothing that we do in the movies that's hard.
I used to deliver for United Parcel Service on a truck.
Right.
That was hard.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a joke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
His point is clear. Real work, the kind that shapes character, is found in the everyday struggles of ordinary people. Hollywood is nothing in comparison. This comment cuts through the illusion of celebrity and reminds us that success comes from real hard work, not from fame or popularity. In a world where woke culture often elevates celebrities as moral authorities, Denzel grounds the conversation in reality, reminding us where true value lies. Finally, Denzel brings the conversation full circle by addressing the media's role in shaping perceptions, especially in an age where misinformation runs rampant.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
What do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS.
This is a strong rebuke of the current media landscape, which often amplifies narratives without fact-checking. Woke culture, too, thrives on these quick reactions and viral moments. Denzel's point? Truth and integrity should always come before speed and spectacle. Denzel Washington's perspective is clear. Personal responsibility, critical thinking, and unity are the keys to navigating today's complex world. He challenges the surface-level narratives of woke culture, urging us to dig deeper and take control of our own lives. But now, the real question is, what do you think? Do you agree with Denzel's views on race, culture, and accountability? Or do you see things differently? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. There's more thought-provoking content.
All right, so that's the end of the video. Let's push this thing back. Push this thing on back here. And that was Denzel Washington and him speaking on the woke culture, and as this video says, destroying the thought process of those who subscribe to that. But here's somebody who doesn't allow society to shape how he's going to think and how he moves and how his family or what moral principles he's going to apply to his family and to himself, and how he moves and all that from the rest of the world. That's not being massaged by the rest of the world. So that thing that he said at the end there, those was some bars too, when he said that if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed, but if you do watch the news, you're misinformed. That is something right there. I love that. That's gonna stick with me right there, because that's if that phrase right there doesn't really speak a lot to what woke culture is, a big part of it, is like what was spoken on about, like reacting to any sad topic without doing due diligence and research into that thing, and just making rash decisions about this, that, and the other. So yeah, I mean, and that's just one part of it. It's a lot of stuff, but Denzel, he did. I thought I reacted to this because I thought this was stuff that needed to be heard. Maybe and this is a video that's been watched by however many million people. But a lot more need to see, and need to hear this type of stuff. And yeah, we need to get away from whatever this woke culture stuff is, and the thing that was said in this video about making it a personal responsibility to to make efforts in changing things, and not so much make it a thing about the systems around you holding you back and stuff like that, because if you really put your mind to it, you could do whatever. That's the realest thing. And there's ways to work around, the ills that may hold you back. So Um, yeah, that's pretty much the simple and plain. That's all I gotta say. I don't want to make this too much longer than it's already been, but like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option. You'll pick the one named Entertainment Reactions. Um, I'll put this in there and you'll see this as well as anything else that that I've reacted to that's anywhere similar to this type of stuff, but or anything that's in that playlist. But I do have playlists for other things. A lot of that stuff is music related, but as you can see, I step outside of that. So when you get the chance, just check out all of the playlists. Um, Cash App, $ you made Roscoe, PayPal at you made Roscoe. Super thanks option is available for those who like to show their support. And that's it. That's all. I'm done. I will see you again soon. So until next time, sayonara, das vidanya, au revoir. See you later. Peace out. Dubs, deuces.